Hi, I'm Fifi. I'm a blue overtone storm KIN 239. From my earliest memories as a child, I've been able to see, to feel, and to hear spirit. And they have guided me throughout my life. And as I've matured as a woman, so my communication and my connection with spirit has evolved and transformed with me. So, for example, as a child, it was very much like cartoons, where they fulfilled a role of support and comfort, a kind of parental role, if you like. By the time I reached 19, it was all about guiding me and my footsteps on the healing path, telling me that first I must heal myself of my childhood trauma and distortions, to then be able to help others heal theirs through my life experience of what would work and maybe what doesn't work quite so well. During that time, I did many different things, and also included in that was training with the Institute of Spiritualist Mediums and helping people who were grieving over the loss of a loved one and giving them confirmation of life beyond life, of the eternal nature of our soul. And then about 3 years ago, I found myself in Cluj in a very beautiful place, and I received a strong connection into a galactic channel from Sirius. They told me at the time they were here in support. They were in our solar system in support of Earth's ascension process. During the last 20 years, I've been told a few times just how important Mayan astrology is as a transformational tool, and also for the information that you can receive at this time while we go through this transition. There are many metaphysical truths that were hidden very deliberately when we went into this dark phase, that are now being revealed. So it's the time of the revealing. It's the time for us to awaken to the truths that we hold encoded in our DNA, and also to the truths that come to us from these ancient systems which originated from the galactics. So in 2018, I met my dear friend Andra Vizan and quickly made a connection with her, received my first Mayan astrology reading, and recognized through her interpretation how close it was to the information I was starting to receive from this channel. This was about 6 months after I first connected into this Sirius channel. And so from then on, whenever I've received channeled information, particularly where they give me dates, even setting dates for a retreat a weekend or dates for something that's going to happen, I've checked in with Andra, and most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, it synchronizes with a galactic activation portal day. And I promise you, I don't look. And it's always been a source of awe and excitement for me that there is this synchronicity and this alignment. Strangely enough, it also seems to hook into the normal astrology planetary alignments also. So there's a synchronicity going on here that's quite important. So at this time, I thought it would be nice if I just offered to all of you who resonate with this the information that I've been receiving now for a year about where we're at and what we're moving towards. So they talk to me about the mission, about ascension. They call it ascension, they call it the mission. They say that there are many souls, star seeds, wanderers, who have come here and been born into this reality, into a physical form. Some who struggle more than others with that. Physically, I mean, they find it very hard to be in their physical bodies because they're very high vibrational. But the choice to be here right now, at this time as we transition, was very important and a great honor to be able to be here and to be born at this time and to be part of this mission. So they're talking about how we are moving into what they would call a collective consciousness. So it's about becoming one. It's about moving away from duality into a oneness. And that doesn't mean to say that there won't be separate individuals in that, but there will be this unity consciousness, which is also referred to as the noosphere. When we reach that, and there's a process to go through before we get there, when we reach that point, then we will find and experience for ourselves the power of the collective mind focused on one goal, on the highest vibrational goal of all, which is the highest good and the best for all concerned. There is no one that is more so or lesser than another. It's each of our individual journeys to go inward and to do the personal work. Because what we do on the inner self, on the micro level, actually has a vast effect on the macro level. So it affects humanity. So this is part of our service of others to do this internal work. And when we are through, and they tell me that this is not just about planet Earth, they say that if you imagine a huge room of dominoes set up ready for a domino toppling, as they call it, when all the dominoes go down and make beautiful patterns, they tell me that planet Earth is the first domino in this knock-on effect that will happen throughout the cosmos. So we are in, at the moment, a cosmic evolution. And they say that we have free will here. So they are not allowed to do anything other than guide us with information, which they bring through many people in many different ways. And that will be one truth, one reality, one truth that has been regurgitated in many different aspects, because some people will hear it and receive it from one person through their system in a way they might not hear it from another in another system. So there's many avenues that reach the one place. But ultimately, it's about us navigating and traversing that pathway to awakening where we become this collective consciousness. And there in that space, magic appears, things that are beyond our wildest imagination, that the power of thought in a thought-created reality could transform this earth, heal this earth of all pollution or destruction in a very short time. That focused on one goal, humanity can be healed, there can be abundance for all. And then once because there will be a processing time, just like if you've been on a retreat for that. So the domino goes down, we've shifted, but then we have to still help others heal. So there's many who are here doing this work now that I'm about to describe, and they're doing it in service of others, they're doing it in service of themselves, but the knock-on effect is it's in service of others. And those who are just not able to wake up at this time, who are deeply asleep and would be very fearful if they were woken, the other people who are able to hold that light and hold that energy are doing the work for them. So that means when we do finally transition, those beings who've been asleep will need a lot of healing. So therefore, this is the process. It's very simple and it's very basic, but it's not so easy to do. You have free will, choice to choose, and that cannot be interfered with because it's universal law. And it's not about a savior or even the galactics coming down and saving us. It's about knowing we are our own guru. We are the one that we've been waiting for. And everyone is equal in this process. So it's about healing our distortions, healing the distortions within us that have come from brain imprinting as a baby. I mean, in that situation, there is no blame on anyone. Your parents were doing the best that they could do with what they had available to them. And you as a baby were doing what was a natural thing to imprint on those who were your parents. That begins a process of distortions that are programs that start running, and they really belong to your parents. So it's starting to go inwards and to look at the traumas that you also experienced later in your childhood. And it's about healing that. And the healing comes from, first of all, understanding where it came from, taking responsibility for the fact that you chose to be here, you signed up to do this process. And if you don't remember who you are and why you came here, it's trusting, if it resonates with you, that this is the truth. You chose to be here. It's a great opportunity for growth, to overcome all of these challenges within you, and to also be able to give that into the collective consciousness as a gift to help others do the same. So healing the childhood traumas, going back, finding out where they came from, and then forgiving. Forgiving yourself as the infinite creator you are in your own life, because you are a divine being of the infinite creator, the one consciousness. And as that one consciousness, you then forgive yourself for the life that you have created that has caused pain and suffering to yourself and to others. And in that humble acknowledgement of your responsibility for the creation, a release happens, a letting go happens, and your heart opens a bit more, and there's a sense of freedom and relief. And in that place then, you can start to look at it, for example, if it came from your parents, why their distortion was the way it was. What did they go through? How did they feel? And many of you listening to this will know this work already. So you'll just be hearing this again, but it's important to keep hearing it, because it's the things that seem so simple that are the most important of all to do. So it's healing the childhood trauma, becoming very aware of your distortions, forgiving yourself and then forgiving others, and also forgiving globally, if your heart is open enough to do so, the atrocities. It's not condoning it or saying that those atrocities were in any way acceptable, but it's forgiving for the highest aspect of all, for freedom of all beings, of humanity. It's about loving yourself, and in loving yourself, that's not just looking in a mirror and saying, I love you, I love you. It's about putting your hand on your heart and saying, how do I feel today? What do I need to do for me? I need to give myself time every day for myself, and what is it that I need to do? And if somebody you care for very deeply and love very much is trying to encourage you to do something that feels wrong for you, loving yourself is about saying no in a loving way. That also becomes loving detachment, also very relevant to looking at the distortions, because as you are looking at your own inner distortions, you get people around you reflecting back at you their own, and you need to be able to tell the difference in a loving, detached way. So that comes into play both with the awareness of your own pain and suffering, and in loving yourself. And then looking at your thought processes and keeping your thought processes positive, particularly around other people. Words are a very powerful thing when they come out of your mouth and are spoken. The spoken word in prayer can manifest things very quickly. So it's very important to be kind in your speech of others, and being aware that they're trying to heal their inner child, their distortions, and they're trying to change and transform, and not to hold them in an old event where maybe you felt hurt or betrayed. It's also about self-acceptance, and in that self-acceptance it's about accepting all aspects of yourself, the negative aspects as well as the positive. It's not about trying to push away the negative and pull the positive to you to be a better person. It's about accepting that in this reality of duality, both positive and negative are relevant. And if you bring it into balance, then you can sit again in that place of loving detachment, of neutrality, and everything that starts to harmonize around you in your world, in your life, relationships, work, money flow. Everything starts to flow in a right way for you, in a positive way for you. And service to others, really, as I said, when you're doing the inner work, that's part of service to others, because it does connect in. We're all connected into what is called the noosphere, my galactic channel called the cosmic web. Every single living sentient being is connected in there. And so as you do the work, it is having a huge effect on that galactic consciousness, on that cosmic consciousness. So they have talked to me all last year, from the 23rd of March, when in England we locked down for COVID-19. They talked about not staying positive, about envisaging the future, always envisaging the future of humanity, breaking free, being happy, being loving, being compassionate, living in a beautiful reality, and not to believe in anything that was coming through from the external sources, through the media. Be aware of it, be conscious of it, but do not buy into it and believe it. Nothing is as it seems, and they showed me this golden energy coming into through this portal that was opened on that day, on the 23rd of March 2020. And they told me that throughout the year this was going to get stronger and more powerful. And the purpose of it was to bring up within each being anything that was hidden and that needed revealing to be healed. And that on a global scale, as we moved into 2021, which is probably somewhere in the region of the end of March into April or May, in that period of spring time, there would be more revealing happening, although the energies would be settling and people would be feeling a bit more relaxed. You could also say that collectively at that time, when we come out of winter into the spring, people always feel better. So that will already be giving a good vibration into that consciousness. And the energies would be assisting. So the more of us that do that inner work, and the more that we keep the vibration up through chanting, through singing, through dancing, through meditation, through keeping a good vibrational diet, a good, clean, healthy vibrational diet, and caring for our sacred vehicle, then we would be adding more positive energy into the collective consciousness. So it seems that this year is now the year of manifestation also. So it's a time for you to really, really look within, to find out what you truly want in your life, to believing that you are eternal, that you are limitless, that together, united in mind and heart and soul, we can change this reality, and we can access all those incredible abilities that we actually hold when we're free of the bonds of control that we've been living under in this reality. But as I say that, gratitude comes in before I close. Gratitude's very important. Gratitude for the challenges, because the challenges force evolution. Through stress, we change and transform. And it's the nature of the universe, and it's the nature of our being. So be grateful for the challenges and the difficulties. Be grateful for all that you have in your life, and be grateful for all that's coming in. And I bless you and wish you all the highest vibrations of love and joy in your hearts. May your love heal all your distortions and feed this release into the cosmic web to assist others to heal and empower the transformation of all beings on planet Earth at this time. Namaste.